Hello and welcome to another edition of Sunshine Spotlight. And what else can I say?
We're not
Kid
in that.
sisters joining me. We got all the way from left to right there. We have Sara and we've got Sabel and we've got Rebecca, bass, guitar, and drums, respectively. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having us.
All right, you're on a porch in the sun. You guys are all in LA right now, I assume?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's like a little palm tree you can see right there.
Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not used to them. I don't think I ever will be.
Yeah. So how long now? Let's go all the way back. First of all, congratulations on so many things. Number one, for sticking it out through the pandemic, because man, that hit us all hard. I think the last time I talked to Sabel was I was driving back from North Carolina to visit my mom. Do you remember that, Sabel? And you were like, my God, we all have to go into our corners. Nobody could do anything. You guys were poised to break out. You had the EP practically done. You were in Nashville. So you survived that.
Yes.
And then now you've got festivals coming up in October in Atlanta with the likes of St. Vincent and Alice Cooper. And you've got a tour coming up in November. So man, take me back now. You're recording your first EP in Nashville, and then the whole world shuts down. What does Kid Sistr, a band that's just about to break out, do? Anybody want to take that?
Yeah. So we had planned a tour, mini tour, just like to release it and stay with friends and kind of like go from Nashville up to New York because that's where Becca was for the summer. So we had planned that. We were pretty excited, and then the pandemic hit. Sara and I moved home for the time being to kind of be with our families and stuff. And then it was kind of the first time that we were all basically in the same state for more than like a month. So because we couldn't play any shows, TikTok was just starting to become a thing, the lovely app that we all know and love. So we decided to kind of use that instead of live music because, we just didn't know what was going to happen. And that kind of like at the same time as like releasing our first singles and everything like that. So it kind of like came up together, which was nice. And we got on it kind of early, so we were able to kind of like build an audience and kind of be like some of the first, handful of musicians on there. So yeah, that was great. And then we got on some playlists and on some TikTok and Spotify playlists, and that kind of helped like gain our audience a little more.
Yeah, the one thing, go ahead. Yeah, no, I was going to say the one thing you guys do really well is your Instagram posts, your ability to use IGTV, TikTok to not only display your adorableness and sexuality and funny sides, but also to keep yourself in the public eye as a band. You very rarely do things singularly. It's always like mostly the three of you guys. Was that a concerted effort on everybody's part? You want to take that one, Sara? Did you guys try to keep this a cohesive unit during this whole period?
Definitely. I mean, when I think the power trio is just kind of a strong media trope that we've seen across many decades of pop culture, like the Powerpuff Girls and Ron, Harry, and Hermione, and like also
music examples.
Yeah,
too.
music examples too. But still,
we were pulling from music examples.
But like Green Day and Nirvana and Blink-182. But I think that the power trio image was really important to us, and really early on the three of us together was what really got the most like powerful reaction from audiences. So I think it's important that the Kid Sistr audiences see us as a unit, like as a brand, but then also each of us has our own individual personalities. So you can be like, I like Bubbles, she's the cute one. And like, I like Blossom, like she's the scary one. Like
we're not trying to like fake that we're all the same.
Yeah,
we're not.
Because we're not all the
Yeah.
same. Yeah.
Sure.
it's that kind of like, or like any band, like Spice Girls, like Scary Spice is my favorite. I'm Scary Spice.
I see. So, I mean, that's what they that's what the Beatles did, right? Everybody has their favorite Beatle, right? So everybody has their favorite kid sister, and you all have very individual personalities. It comes out in the Instagram posts, and it comes out on stage too. And I was going to ask, it's funny, Rebecca, you were in school. You're still in school. When I first interviewed you guys for that piece in late 2019, what were you, 18 then?
Yeah, 18, I
So
think.
you're 19 now, or did you turn 20?
I'm almost 21, but so maybe I did the math wrong. I don't know.
Yeah, what was that? You're doing a Michael Jackson thing there, trying to be younger for the pop audience. No, I was going to say that. Was that difficult for you to navigate during that period to be away from these two guys, and be in school? But then when you got back together, it was almost like you were never apart.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it definitely, it's always a struggle just in terms of like time management, being like in classes and also, trying to do something like this full time. But I think that's why this summer was, and also I think that's why, the pandemic turned out to be such a blessing in disguise for us because everything just kind of shut down and we were able to kind of give it the shot that it needed to, that we needed to give it without anything kind of getting in the way. I mean, not that school gets in the way, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure.
But yeah, I mean, it really did feel like no time. It always feels like no time has passed when we get back together.
Yeah.
Also, the
'Cause we're
pandemic
homies.
was the first time we like hung out and didn't do music always.
Yeah.
Like we were able to kind of just like have sleepovers and like
Which I think is like what
hang.
every band needs. Like you have to like, in order to like have chemistry and like be able to like create product that people can relate to and what you have to like each other.
Yeah.
And you have to
Yeah.
like have experiences together as a band.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely.
You have to be young women. You can't always be musicians and pros. I mean, listen, Sarah told me when I interviewed you guys, you mentioned, Sarah, that you've been playing with and backing up musicians since you're 14, 15 years old. I mean, look at these young kids here, young women, but these guys are veterans. So this is a chance for you guys to exhale for a second and just be friends.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And not have to like prove anything, I guess, or just be kind of comfortable. I think that's kind of why we always got along so well, even when we like didn't know each other as much, just because we all kind of understood the same things and like
Yeah.
could relate
And
to
we all had
being
the like
girls.
yeah, the shared experience of like being a woman in music and like kind of navigating everything that comes along with that. So I think
Yeah. Okay, so before we get to the new music, which I assumed, well, let's just get right to that, and then I want to talk about the tour and how you guys found out and got all that stuff. But so during the quarantine, when you were retooling and getting to know each other again and all that stuff, were you writing? Were you playing again and kind of jamming and getting back into that love of being a power trio again?
hell yeah.
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 Yeah. It was Becca kind of came into the writing process for the first time, which was really nice. And now we kind of like now we're obsessed with the 3-person writing structure. Just because
How so? How do you do it? How do you do it? How do you write a song now?
Oh.
I think it's a lot of we have like the same exercises that we use over and over again to kind of jumpstart things or push things along. But those are just kind of tools in the toolbox. Like I feel like every time we go to write something, it starts a little differently and it might have like a slightly different inception, like or just point of inspiration. And then once we get the ball rolling, however that starts, whether it's like a concept idea or a little riff or a little just one lyric, like however that ball begins rolling, then once we kind of like the natural thing slows down, we have like these series of exercises that we use to push it along. Like we'll set a timer and like just free write absolute bullshit.
Like sometimes it's like a story, like
Literally.
like exercises you used to do in like second grade where the teacher was like, now just write for whatever and
Yeah.
like don't think about anything. Like that's kind of what we do.
Yeah.
And we're able to like get vomit out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or I have this big book of like Radiohead lyrics that this guy got me one time as a gift because he was like, I want to date you, and I was like, I like can't really date you right now, but I'll take that Radiohead book. So I bring it in my backpack, and we'll like look through and like pull little words and stuff that we like, or even we'll do that with like magazines or stuff or poetry books. And yeah, and then we just hash it out.
I also think honestly, like that's like, you know, one of the best parts about this being like a trio of all women, and the fact that we're all so close, because, you know, we can be comfortable enough with each other where we can just write down hot garbage and and like share that, and no one bats an eye, and then we eventually get to something that we all like.
Yeah. Also, I feel like we trust each other too. Like, not every lyric has to be so poetic and perfect, and we know, like, we trust each other's opinions and capabilities enough that we know when we can just throw in like something weird or something kind of cheesy, or like
someday if this thing blows TF up, someday I'm gonna like release our like archives in the Google Docs of like the first time we did this exercise with Becca. She wrote like this story about like a fish like swimming in the like this.
I was like, write a routine of a fish. Like, what does a fish do? And I feel like we might have taken like something from it.
Yeah, I think we did.
I know, because
we
we
were
did.
like, oh, the people, like that line, but it was like so funny. She was just like, I'm a fish, I'm swimming, like, look at that rock, it's my favorite rock. Like, wow, like
but we literally pulled something from it.
Yeah, we did. It ended up being the catalyst for something. So you have to have that level of comfort with each other and with yourself to put that stuff in the Google Doc.
Mm-hmm. Put it down for posterity. Yeah. So if you do become really famous, then someone will either stumble on it or you'll have to release it and own it.
I'm gonna WikiLeak it.
Literally, shout out to Google Docs, sponsor us.
Yeah. Sponsored by Google Docs.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's the beauty about being young. You know, you could just say later on, we were so young. We just didn't know what the hell we were doing.
Yeah.
So let's play a performance video. I think, and explain to me again, I was going back and forth with you guys earlier. The name of the song is Palpitations. It's got I must say, I just listened to it about an hour ago, and it's got a totally new sound for you guys. And the cool thing about the self-titled EP from a couple of years ago is that there's no style. There's just punk, there's funk, there's kind of a Police vibe on the song. There's a Peter Gabriel vibe on a song. There's a ballad in there. So you guys are not going to be pigeonholed, number one. You're a rockin' band live, and then I got this earlier today. So Palpitations is a completely different experience. Introduce the song and tell us how you came up with that one. Was it, when you play musically, you just talked about the lyrics, do you guys just sit in a circle and play, and then this is what comes out, or does someone have a structured song and brings it?
This one is, like, it's kind of ironic that we're bringing this one because it's just everything different than what we were just saying. This was actually written by me, my friend. But it's interesting because I had been holding on to it for a while. It felt it felt like there was something special about it, and we played it a lot because, you know, we've been a live band for way longer than we've been like a band with releases, like, you know, out in the world. And I always loved playing the song. It felt so us, and we were kind of able to be like fun and funny with it and engage the audience. And so I had never released it under my own like artist name, and then I'm really glad that I didn't, because now we're like so tight as a band and it just feels very much us. I don't know if you guys have anything to say, but
I mean, it definitely just like feels like a Kid Sister song, and I think like we kind of arranged it for like the live show a little bit differently than even how like, the production, you know, turned out. So I'm really excited to kind of like rework our live like rendition of it, and I think it's always a really fun one to play live. So
yeah, absolutely. And right now you guys are gonna get another version of it that's a little stripped down, but this song has lived in so many different spaces, so we're excited to provide a little bit of a small cute version, and then when it comes out, you can hear the big fat version.
Yeah.
The banger. The banger.
Well, let's without further ado, this is Palpitations, Kid's Sister.
1, 2, 3, 4. I had a dream that I was choking, and then I woke up in your arms. I've got my paranoia, I've got a restless thing, 1,000 palpitations in my heart. These cigarettes that you've been smoking, don't know exactly what you think. Must be my paranoia, my indecisiveness, 1,000 reasons I don't trust my heart. Thousand palpitations in my heart. Tu me veux, tu m'entends, est-ce que tu veux avec moi, qu'est-ce qui se passe demain? Tu me veux, tu m'entends, tu me veux, tu m'entends, qu'est-ce que tu veux avec moi, qu'est-ce qui se passe demain? Tu me veux, tu m'entends, sometimes I stay up till the morning, believe me, I'd rather be asleep. Looks like a perfect day for losing my dignity. I think I'm just surprised it's not all gone. Thousand palpitations in my heart.
There it is, Palpitations, a stripped-down version just for us by Kid's Sister, and it's just, I mean, it's a pleasure just watching you guys play together. It's just a pleasure seeing you guys. I often joke, and it's not really a joke. You are my adopted daughters. Did we make that official yet? I don't remember.
I'll send you the paperwork.
Yeah, well,
Rebecca's like, what the fuck was that? That was not in the plan.
yeah. I
think
love being ready for it.
No, my favorite thing about saying people are my like adoptive parents is that I'm literally 24. Like you couldn't, like I don't think you can. Like, can you legally adopt an adult
No,
person?
I don't think you can.
Nah, probably not. No.
We'll fake it.
Yeah.
Let's not tell anybody.
I'm 15.
Okay, good. Yeah, let's go with that. Let's do the Rebecca thing and say we're younger than we actually are. Okay, so I mentioned it at the top, but you guys now, let's just forget 2020, as many people are doing. This is, you guys took this period to record new music. You're in LA now. You're in Nashville. You have management now. You have tour on the horizon. How did this all come about?
The tour, honestly, a lot of it was from TikTok, which is super lucky because we would have never known the extent of that, of like the power of that app and just of kind of getting like your shit out into the world in other ways. And yeah, I think because, you know, we were able to find like a balance of our personalities and our music, we were able to kind of start getting these meetings and stuff like that. So the tour came about through our agents at APA, which is, we love them.
Shout out, Jason.
Shout out. And yeah, we were super thrilled about that.
The girl we're opening for is so cool.
Yeah,
Chloe
we've known her
Moriando,
for a little while.
She's amazing, and the coolest thing also is I think that so Chloe's band is all girls, and then the openers that we're with on her leg are all girls, I believe also.
Yeah,
so I think it's literally just gonna be the lady tour of lady tours.
Lady tour.
And I'm so lit about it. Like, I can't wait.
And I've never gone on tour, so I'm really excited.
We're gonna haze Isabella really hard. Oh, I said Isabella.
Who's that?
I exposed her. We're gonna haze.
Well, I mentioned, I'm going to plug my article about you guys, and I did mention, but Sabel, you should mention, that was a solo project that you had, right? That's where you kind of developed that name, and then, obviously that's your stage public persona.
Well, it's funny because it was just the name that, like, everyone called me at school, like in college. It just kind of stuck. It wasn't by choice at all. I hated it at first, actually.
I remember that.
Yeah, I hated it, but
it's so
it
bad.
just like
a fish.
it got like stuck. It like just stuck, and you only called me Sabel, and then I hadn't used that as an artist name just because I like didn't like it at first. But so I'd used Isabella Rose. That's very common.
Yes.
Sara had to call me Isabella on stage instead of Sabel.
And
because
I always
did
the opposite. I always called her Sabel on stage when her artist name was Isabella Rose, and then I would like,
yeah.
And
now it's flipped.
I've trained myself to call her Isabella, and now I have to go back and be like Sabel.
Well, I think my one of my daughter's best friends is Isabella, and we call her Bella.
Yeah.
Anybody ever call it? Yeah, that was.
Yeah. Also.
Do you prefer Becca?
Yeah, I go with Becca usually.
All right, that's cool. I'm sorry. I did the full Rebecca the whole time, so I blew it too. All right, so you're talking about this is the first tour for Sabel, and you guys are playing that Atlanta gig in October. The new music, though, are you out in LA to record, or did you guys decamp that totally? Are you there for the in perpetuity, or are you there just to sort of get a record down?
Kind of both. I mean, we're definitely here because there's the most action here. Like that's kind of why, sorry.
Stab me.
We're like desperate to just like finish product, record the stuff that we have and write. And we'll kind of be here like as long as, that has to be done, and we're just kind of taking it like day by day and seeing how it goes, and then we desperately want to go on the road for a long time, hopefully. So we'll see if that happens. And, we're just kind of like taking it day by day. But the most important thing for us now is like finishing these recordings and writing more and stuff. So,
yeah.
Well, I have to say, it's just been a pleasure getting to know you guys, to write about you, watch you grow. I know it's only been a couple of years since I've known you, but I'm just so happy and proud that you're doing so well. You must be having absolutely the time of your lives, and you deserve it because you are a really kick-ass trio, and I really want to see this take off. Seriously. No, I mean, well, you guys are one of my favorite. Well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, just that article was like one of the first articles that we'd ever had written about us, and we were like, "Oh my god!" It was so incredible. So that'll always be here.
I feel like Underwater Sunshine. We've talked about this. Like, I feel like that was such a moment.
It was also the last show we played. It was second to last. But,
I just feel like it was such a moment for us, like in just being like, oh, I think this is like. Maybe real. Yeah. Like, I think this is really real. Like, I think this is really something that has chemistry and can kind of grab the attention of people. And I feel like that was our first taste of just you guys like finding us randomly on the internet before we even had TikTok. Like, it was just a random.
Adam like found some YouTube, or maybe it was you that found like.
No, it was Adam. Yeah, I'll give him a lot of credit when he played. And well, I couldn't. I was so. First of all, you guys played the Garden Session, right? And that was great.
Yeah. Yes.
And we interviewed you before I had even seen you guys plug in. Yeah. And then I was right in the front, as you guys remembered. I wasn't feeling well that night. And I got to tell you, I had a bad stomach. I barely made it through that live podcast. Oh, yeah, I was very sick. And you guys rekindled my joy for rock and roll. Seriously. You're young, energetic. You were throwing your bodies around the damn stage. Rebecca's not even on the stage as she's pounding away, and you're tight as a drum. It was amazing. So I'm so glad that you guys played the festival, and I'm so glad that I got to write about you, and we keep in touch. And I hope that people see this now, and you get more and more followers to see how cool you guys are and how I want people to get on the Kid Sister bandwagon before this thing gets too big. You want to be the people. You want to be the people seeing the Beatles in the cavern. You don't want to see them later on at Shea Stadium. That's what I'm saying, right?
Play like a small venue. The small venue is like,
Our
like
favorite.
that is always like
Because it pops off.
it pops off. Yeah.
Are you coming to New York? Are you coming to Jersey or New York on this tour?
We're coming to Philly.
So we go to DC.
She'll look that up.
DC and Philly.
Yeah. We go, but there's been some talk of potentially booking some shows that bookend, because it's Austin to DC. So we're hoping to maybe bookend, but we haven't confirmed anything yet, but we will keep you posted.
Yes, thank you very much. All right. I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
Oh, it's one of our biggest priorities is playing in LA and New York.
Yeah. There you go. It still remains so. Well, listen, again, continued success, you guys. I love you, and Adam does too, and we want to see you soon. Best of luck. Stay healthy out there, all right? Ladies, if you have any problem, you know where to call, okay?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, thanks for reaching out. We're so glad to see you again. And
Cool. All right. There you are. That's Kid Sister. I'm James Campion. This is Sunshine Spotlight. See you next time. Say bye, guys.
Bye.